Manual testing and the value that it brings, especially when it is guided by industry best practices, is huge. One fact that cannot be overlooked is that no automation can be done without a tester first doing their diligence in executing manual tests. Manual tests create the foundation needed to understand the functionality of the system and the objectives of what is to be automated and why. The efficiency and accuracy of your automated tests are therefore dependent on proper manual testing practices. Proper manual testing can increase the usability of an application, especially during UAT. While there are automated tools that can be used for visual confirmation of requirements, manual testing allows for quick verification of requirements and features. It provides techniques that allows for exploratory testing and verifying changing requirements in a short time. These techniques help to reduce cost and time when implemented properly. It is crucial that we understand the importance of manual testing in delivering quality software. It is even more important that we avoid common mistakes when doing manual testing. With this in mind, how can we reduce time to market? How can we avoid mistakes when we are doing manual testing? In this video, I'll be exploring with you 7 common mistakes I've seen that can be easily remedied that will help you to move to the next level as a QA expert and to do better manual testing. Let's get started. The first point I want to talk about is testing without understanding requirements. A lot of times we may get thrown on projects to start testing without viewing a requirements doc or getting the time to understand the requirements. This is to try to get it done fast as clients try to meet project deadlines. In some instances, there may not even be test cases or user stories, or the actual requirements is largely undocumented and is only known by specific persons on the team. Not having proper requirements or testing without understanding requirements may result in false positives and false negatives where features are marked incorrectly as passed or failed when based on requirement specifications they should not have been. As you can imagine, this creates problems that could have easily been prevented, such as missing features, functionalities, and buggy software. So if you're going on a project and you don't have proper requirements or you don't understand what you're going to be testing, try to see how best you can get those requirements so that you don't go about just aimlessly testing and writing up bugs that may not even be bugs, or seeing something that you think is a feature when in reality it is a bug and something that the client may not want. Lack of requirements or poorly documented requirements make it more difficult to validate and verify the product. It leaves determining the correct functionality of the application to a guessing game between testers and developers. Should testers or developers become the source of truth for product requirements, it may deviate from the needs of the client. The second point is not prioritizing test cases. Test case prioritization could be the difference between a project being defined as a success or a failure. Imagine the unfortunate scenario where you execute 80% of the test cases without first prioritizing the test cases with the test manager and other relevant shareholders. All of the tests pass, you are excited, you present your results to your test manager, and you go ahead with the release. When the product is delivered to the client, they are extremely unsatisfied because the 20% of test cases that you did not execute was very important to their business. Or let's say, for example, you are testing an ATM machine and you tested all the functionality except withdrawing money, which is huge. That is one of the main purposes of an ATM. When you go and you install that ATM machine, no one is able to withdraw cash. That would be such a huge disaster. This may not always happen, and the test cases that we have not checked or scenarios that we have not tested may not be critical to the business. However, to have a greater level of confidence in the quality of the system, it is highly recommended that we prioritize our test cases and our overall testing efforts. It is important that not only you, but the test manager, other project stakeholders, such as the client, business analyst, product owner, development team, participate in prioritizing features so that the most important or high-risk features are developed and tested first. Because you want the highest priority, most safety critical or important features to be developed and tested first so that it minimizes cost, time, and effort. The third mistake to avoid is testing only after you have deployed the code. In the Agile lifecycle, requirements and features are constantly evolving. It is recommended that testing starts as early as possible. You can sit with developers to go over requirements. You can ask questions to better understand requirements in backlog grooming so that you can get proper acceptance criteria and so that you and the developers and other members on the team all understand the same thing. It is great practice to start testing as soon as there is a draft of the requirements, user stories, acceptance criteria. Not only is early testing one of the 7 principles of testing, but it allows for finding defects and fixing them at a cheaper cost. As the later in the life cycle the issue is found, then the more expensive it becomes. Testing requirements is very important as it ensures that there are no gaps and that the requirements are clear and the quality of the requirements is adequate for your project. This helps as the right product will be built and it reduces the cost associated with defects making its way to production. Also, poor quality or gaps in requirements increase development and maintenance costs and can cause schedule overruns. A next mistake that we should avoid is not reporting defects correctly. Reporting a bug correctly is just as important as finding the bug. Proper defect reporting allows for easy identification and reproduction of the real problem that results in the issue being fixed in a timely manner. If the defect report is vague or incomplete, then the developer will have to spend time trying to understand what the defect is. A good bug report reduces the time from when the bug is found to getting the bug resolved. Bugs can delay a release and can sour the relationship with a client. Think of the defect report as a form of communication between you, the tester, the developer, and other project stakeholders. You can use tools like Jira with links to TestRail that contains your test cases to ensure that you have proper defect reports that are as clear as possible. Not having traceability across your project is a huge mistake that you should avoid. Traceability provides project stakeholders, such as project managers, client, and the development team, with the ability to make decisions. This primarily refers to the traceability of requirements throughout application development. This can help the test manager or project manager determine if all requirements for project completion has been met. The test manager can also use traceability to determine whether or not entry and exit criteria for testing has been met. Metrics such as test coverage, the number of bugs found for specific requirements, number of defects outstanding, severity of those defects are all important and are used to make decisions about releases and the product. Some questions to ask when executing tests are: Are prioritized test cases that are being executed tied to a requirement? Are the defects that are found linked to a test case or a requirement? When implemented properly, exploratory testing can provide great results for a system that has little to no requirements. It is also useful in agile environments when there are a lot of changing requirements or where the tester is learning the product or designing test cases. Low reproducibility of issues found and time spent testing is reduced when exploratory testing is time-boxed, as well as issues and questions raised are properly documented and tracked. Time-boxing is the process of allocating a specific fixed amount of time to an activity. It allows the tester to keep focused on the task at hand. Exploratory testing should be done by a tester with appropriate knowledge or experience following a test charter that defines the scope and goal for testing in a time box. There are times when we can become so invested in testing a feature or trying to reproduce a bug that we lose track of time and go down the rabbit hole. When we finally resurface, we realize that while this may or may not have been necessary, other important tasks are not done. This is a loss of time and resources. Not time-boxing exploratory testing may result in a tester spending more time in one area and neglecting the others. Root cause analysis is the process of finding the origin of a problem or the underlying cause of a defect. It offers a permanent solution to the defect that has been reported and reduces the chances of the defect reoccurring. It saves cost for a company in the long run as the cost for fixing defects increases the further in the process it is, even more so if it goes into the final product. It is valuable as a tester to not only log bugs but to provide solutions. It also helps you to gain insight into how the system works and can therefore help you to develop more robust tests for the system. You can do this by first identifying what the main problem is, then try to analyze why the problem is occurring. This could be as a result of inadequate requirements, negligence, incorrect assumption, design gaps, or deployment issues. Additionally, as the tester, along with other stakeholders, you can seek to identify when this occurred. Was this error present in the previous release? Is it a regression as a result of a fix? Did a new feature cause a failure? Or is the root cause something else? These are some questions that you can ask. With an increased demand for high-quality software, the critical role of proper manual testing practices cannot be understated. This list of mistakes to avoid are not exhaustive, but they are ones that can certainly be addressed with a certain degree of ease once each party understands and appreciates their role in creating efficient testing processes to achieve the desired product quality with minimal defects. Thanks for watching. Don't forget to like, comment, share, and subscribe. See you in the next one.